Are Kyle Shanahan's 49ers a dynasty?
All right. This interests me a lot because to me, dynasty means at least one thing. You got to win a Super Bowl. But it also means that you win multiple Super Bowls. And usually there's a back-to-back in there, or at least a year or so in between. And I was talking to someone, and they mentioned that the Niners under Shanahan is a dynasty. And it just kind of struck me. I had to look and think and say, really? So I don't think they're a dynasty for a couple of reasons. One, they haven't won a Super Bowl. I mean, two, that's why I call him Kyle Levy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And two, you look at the teams that I think have been dynasties over the years, okay? And I go back a little bit of time. But if you look at those teams, it's pretty clear. You've got the Patriots, right? You've got the Niners at one point. The Packers are always in contention. The Cowboys. And now, obviously, the Chiefs. So to me, those are bona fide dynasties. And if you don't win a Super Bowl, how could anyone consider that a dynasty? Go ahead.
They're not. But I think what makes them, they're absolutely not a dynasty. Like, over my dead body, will I allow that narrative? But no, what makes them so interesting and like different than other teams that have come close is I think, let's say they never win one, and we're trying to explain the Kyle Shanahan era, not dynasty, to people who didn't live through it. You would say what made it unique was that for about 4 or 5 years, they legitimately were the best team in the NFL, and they didn't win a Super Bowl. And that to me is what makes them different than Marv Levy's Bills, because the Bills never were the best team in football. They were the best team in the AFC, but they ran up against the Cowboys over and over and over again, which those Cowboys were legitimately a juggernaut. Like right before free agency, they were loaded in a way that most teams in the history of the league weren't. Kyle doesn't have that excuse. He's not going up against the early 90s Cowboys. He's going up against the Chiefs, who, frankly, I mean, even the Niners will say it. They have the better quarterback because the Niners didn't want that quarterback, but they don't have the better team than the Niners. And the Niners were up big in both Super Bowls. They're up 10 and found new ways to lose. That's what makes this team so special.
Okay, Grant, listen, you take that knife and you just keep stabbing it in and in and in.
With a smile on my face, twisting.
Yes.
Sorry.
I'm
sorry.
And
that's what they're famous for.
Okay. As a fan, it hurts.
Yeah.
But as a realistic person, you're right.
Yeah.
I don't see how you keep losing leads in the Super Bowl. I mean, that's inexplicable. And watching this last one really bothered me. And I don't want to rehash what has been said, but I think it's important because the same person is making the same decisions, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you didn't know the rules. You didn't know the freaking rules.
Right.
And you didn't promulgate it to your team. Now, I know some players knew and some didn't, but the point is you didn't know the rule. That's bad. Okay. We see you at where was he? He was a little intoxicated here and there. Okay, man,
Maybe.
you know the rule.
Allegedly.
Sorry.
Allegedly. We'll see.
Allegedly. Yes. We don't know. You're right. But he looked like he was having a good time. At any rate, I would prefer time being spent getting the team up to speed on the new rules. I would also like to see someone help him with time management in games. Now, and I just don't see him doing that. That's the problem.
And one thing too, the 49ers have this really weird culture about like when they lost the Super Bowl the first time, they came back with the revenge tour, which was amazing. As if like they got screwed by the refs or whatever. They always were able to rally around something that like it wasn't fair. It wasn't fair what happened. It was a fluky result. Like, if there had been a 7-game series, they would have proven that. So they lost the first one and Jimmy missed that throw to Emmanuel Sanders. And I think the whole team kind of felt like that was it. Or Nick Bosa getting held on that. It was one play here or there. We were the best team. We're going to come back and show it. And then every year there was an excuse like, Brock Purdy got hurt, whatever. This year, there was no excuse. They had the quarterback, they had the team, they had the lead, and they lost because the coach didn't know a rule. It's hard for the team to rally around that. Be like, this year, you know what? Our coach, he's going to know the rules.
Know the rules.
And then watch out.
Yeah, well, There was a film breakdown, by the way, too, that kind of boggled my mind. In addition to not knowing the dang on rules, but I'm trying to keep it PG. My wife told me I had to stop swearing so much around my little daughter. But anyway, the way he chose to run McCaffrey sometimes between, it looks like the A and B gaps, or between the guards, that was problematic when it was being shut down. It's like he refused to adapt, and I just don't understand that, because there's
pull one
gotta
of
be
these. Pull one of these.
No.
No.
Shout out to my daughter Alyssa. No, but exactly. So I get it. He has an ego. He knows more football than I ever will know in probably 10 lifetimes. But I know one thing. I saw the Niners win 5 rings, and it looks way different than what I see now. So, I hope that someone can get to him. Maybe Papa Shanahan can say, hey, guy, look, son, you can't keep losing 10-point leads in the Super Bowl or double-digit leads in the Super Bowl. It's not a good look for the Shanahan brand. I mean, honestly, it's just not.
Look, if you do it one more time, I'm going to have to disown you. I'm sorry. We're going to have different last names if you blow one more double-digit Super Bowl. You've done it 3 times, son. Yeah. And I know I love you, but there's limits. This is not an unconditional type of deal. There are conditions.
There are certain conditions. Kyle Levy.
You want unconditional love? Talk to your mom. We don't do that, or I don't do that.
See, this is why they hate you, but it's okay. Kyle, all I want, Kyle.
That stuff you said about my mom was not cool, dude. What?
Now you want to go grab the
hey, man. Yeah.
No, Kyle, listen, honestly, if you see this, and I know you do, as a fan who cares and spent like 20 G's going to the Super Bowl 2019, 2020, okay, do me a favor and actually focus on winning the damn big game, okay? That's all we as fans want. So that means kind of sitting back and realizing you're not perfect and asking for help sometimes. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
That's pretty good. Take a couple super chats. JAL, Joe Staley didn't have long arms and he was great. It's true.
Bingo.
True.
Bingo.
Absolutely. Matt McEwen, Niners documentary will be how to avoid 30 for 30. How the best team in the league for half a decade won nothing.
Never win one.
How to not win. Matt McEwen, Kyle Levy exploiting weaknesses in the Super Bowl. Chiefs D, weakness outside zone runs. Kyle said, hold my beer, runs up the middle. WTF.
That's what I mean. Well, okay. And after the first Super Bowl, right? Didn't we see, I forgot the safety, came on and said, thank God the Niners stopped running it.
Was it not Tyrann Mathieu?
It was. You're right.
Yeah.
So, isn't that a hint?
Wasn't it also Travarius Ward said that last year on Eric Armstead's podcast? And Armstead was laughing too,
So, I mean, it's kind of funny when some fans, and listen, I'm not knocking any fans that may be in the chat right now. I'm there with you guys. I'm just a comment creator. All right. I super chat $2 at a time. But there's some problems. And it's really Shanahan. It's really, I mean, he has to adapt some more. Give a little control away. I was talking to another YouTube content creator about this, and maybe you know some of this, Grant. How much influence does Kyle have over the draft?
As much as he wants. How about that?
Okay.
As much as he freaking wants.
Okay. That's what
if he's in the bathroom during the pick or eating a sandwich, maybe they can get away with making the pick without him. But if he wants that pick to be what he wants, I mean, that's on him.
Right. That's what I said, because I figured
the front office has to wait for him to run out of players he's heard of before they can do their job.
Right. As I told someone, I said, look, no way that you hire a guy and give them more power than you. So we all know that Kyle hired Lynch. No offense, John. I mean, you're a Hall of Famer. I know you know more about football than I ever will. Your left pinky probably knows more than me, but no way Kyle gives power to Lynch that would somehow oversee Kyle's when it comes to
Lynch's job is to do what Kyle doesn't want to do.
Bingo.
Right.
So, and I say that because I think, what'd you say?
which is a lot. You know, there's a lot of mundane stuff that GMs have to do, but picking the guy in round one, I'm sure Kyle's interested. He's going to coach him.
Yeah.
Has an opinion.
One thing we have to say, thank God John Lynch brokered peace between you and Kinlaw. I'm serious. Javon, if you happen to see this, it's good that you're no longer a team. I don't want you assaulting my guy, Grant, you know, or anyone else. Just kidding. Allegedly.
I'm cool with Javon. But yeah, that kind of shows the value of John Lynch. Like, John Lynch is great for that organization. And I wonder if he didn't do something similar for Spencer Burford and John Feliciano, because that's just kind of, I would just assume that that's something John, instead of picking sides and getting rid of someone, can you guys come here for a second? Can we talk like men?
No. Yeah.
That's a really nice quality for any leader. He's a great leader, John Lynch, for sure.
I do agree
as
with
opposed to Kyle Levy. Actual leadership.
No, I do agree with that.
Yeah.
Wait, speaking of Kyle Levy, remember how he did, I know he was your guy, and I liked former number one on our team, but Jimmy Ward, you know, Jimmy Ward had some not so nice things to say about Kyle Levy.
No, he didn't.
As far as leadership.
I'll try to not only take his job, but like affect his next contract. Like, oh, you're going to move me to nickel? I was going to get paid at safety. I'm one of the best. So yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.